Welcome to the assembly guide for your Scout Ship terrain kit. These are the tools and supplies that you'll need in order to complete the build. The first step that we'll want to do is clean all of the parts and make sure that everything is dry fitted and fits together before actually gluing anything. Be careful using a sharp hobby knife and always cut away from yourself. You'll also want to use sanding sticks or sandpaper in order to smooth out the areas of the connection parts. Always test the fit, and then if anything needs an additional trim, continue sanding or scraping at that point. For the resin parts, you'll also want to sand off the connection points and the nubs where the supports were used in order to create the 3D prints. To glue the primary sections for the hull together, be sure to line up the lower section of the hull by matching the connection points for the landing gear. Then by running a bead of superglue along the seam, you can connect the front half and the back half of the lower hull section. Then you can repeat this process for the upper hull section. Keep the two sections of the upper and lower hull separate so that you'll be able to use the interior during games. To attach the landing gear, align the lower hull so that you can see the right side and the left side. The right side of the hull is going to be the starboard side, and the left side of the hull is the port side. When you flip the hull over, these sections will be reversed, and you'll notice that the landing gear has a left side and a right side that will fit into the hull, and the grooves along the bottom pads of the landing gear will line up perpendicular to the direction of the hull. To attach the rear hull, begin by gluing the reactor core piece into the rear hull piece. Then you can dry fit the rear hull piece by aligning the pins on each side of the hull. They will fit in a particular way, and if they don't fit, then you'll need to reverse the direction of the rear hull section. When both of the pins line up, then you can glue that section into the hull. Repeat the process for the nose section and the nose cone. All of the fins will be attached to the hull sections by connecting the pin into the slots on the hull. To install the hinge for the upper hatch, test fit the hinge piece before gluing the retaining clip. Whenever gluing the retaining clip inside, be sure to apply glue only along the bulkhead where the clip will set against to make sure that no glue gets around the hinge. That way it'll remain articulated and can open. It may be necessary to use some modeling putty to fill in the small holes that could appear along the upper side of the hull where it's thin around the upper hatch hinge. To glue the two halves of the engine mounts together, just run a bead of glue along the edge of the connection points. Whenever you place them together, set them on a flat, firm surface and make sure that all of the posts line up. The engine pieces have unique, specific mounting points. So be sure to match up the mounting points with the regular cowling side so that you don't glue two of those together by mistake. Begin by running a bead of glue along the connection points on half of the engine part. When you place the two halves together, set the engine part on a firm, flat surface in order to make sure that the parts align correctly. Once the halves of the engines are dry, then you can glue on the afterburner pieces and the intakes. Arrange the engines around the engine mount part and glue one engine to one of the engine supports. Once this is dry, you can attach the remaining engines. When all of the engines have dried, you can glue the engine mount into the back of the hull. Begin by test fitting the hatches into the lower half of the hull. When the hatch is seated correctly, glue in the retaining clip near the hinge. Be sure to line up the peg that's on the retaining clip along the slot where the hinge is. Only run a small bead of glue along the threshold to make sure that none of the glue gets inside the hinge mechanism. Then you can attach the retaining clip there. This will make sure that the hatch will open and close. Begin by clipping the seats from their sprues and gluing them into their appropriate bases. The optional ladder and railing can be glued onto the end of the flight deck. The consoles and the seats can be glued in place, or they can be left separate, depending on your choice. It's recommended that a two-part epoxy be used along the frame to install the clear window parts. Any superglue used in this area could cause fogging or damage the clear windows. It's also recommended to paint your ship in sub-assemblies by painting the consoles before they're installed or painting the hull sections before any of the clear windows are installed. Thanks for watching how to assemble your Scout Ship terrain kit. Be sure to check out our other YouTube videos as well as our other miniatures and kits at bombshellminis.com. Bombshell Miniatures provides models for your miniature agnostic games. We hope that your Scout Ship kit will transport your crews to great adventures in the outer reaches.